Hello again and welcome to part 2B of our online Scratch series. Depending on whether you've continued straight on from part A or whether you decided to take a break from that, you need to get into Scratch, and you can either go to Create or you can go directly to your folder here. So if I go into Create, and then it's the same thing here. Look, we just got the folder up there, and we just need to load up from where we left off last time. You click on that, it comes onto here, so you just click on See Inside, and that shows us the programs that we've already got. So next thing that we're going to do is start bringing in some scoring. So to do that, we're going to need to create some variables to store those numbers. So we're going to Variables, we're going to click Make a Variable, and we're going to call this one Score. So the score I'm going to put over on the stage. So go to the backdrops. So as usual then on the event, so we're saying then when we press the green flag to start our game off, back to variables, we want to set, I'm going to change that, my variable to score to 0, because when we start the game off we want to reset the score from the last person that's been playing there. Let's go back to our sprite 1. So this is the one that detects whether someone's clicked the sprite, so that is the point where we need to change the score when they're successful. So score again, we're going to then say change the score by 1, and we're going to put that just after it's hidden the sprite. So again, let's just try that one out. So our score's 0, we click this one, it should go to 1, wait a few seconds for it to come back, click it again, it's gone to there. Let's stop the game and reset, yeah, and it should go back to 0 because of that program that we just made on our background there. So while we're in the background then, it's a very easy game if all you've got to do is just keep clicking everywhere. So we're going to add another one onto here. So we're going to go back to events. I'm going to say this time, making sure that you're on the stage on our backdrop. I'm going to say when the stage is clicked, we'll go to variables, and we're going to change the score by -1 and drop that there. So again, we just need to test that that's working. So we click this one, we get 1 point. So the next time when I click, I'm going to miss and just click on the stage, and that decreases our score each time there. So now that we've got our score going up and down, we're going to add a timer so that people have got that little bit of pressure of only having a certain amount of time to be able to click as many of these as possible. So again, we're going to go to variables, we're going to click on make a variable, so we'll call that time, and then we need a new program then for this one. So we'll go to events, and when the flag is clicked, we're going to go into variables and we're going to set variable time. Just whilst we're trying this out and testing it, we're just going to set that to 5, then we only ever have to wait 5 seconds to make sure that things are working. Next, we're going to need to go around the loop and take 1 second off the time each time we do that. I just want to go back to sprite 1, because if you remember, when we set this up, we wait 1 second before we start showing our clickable sprites. So that's what we need to do here before we start counting. Otherwise, instead of 5 seconds, people will get 4 seconds, or instead of 10 seconds, they get 9. So into control, and we're going to say to wait 1 second. Still on control then, we're going to now say repeat until. So we're just going to keep repeating this, and the bit that we need to repeat is we are going to change the time by -1. Now if we kind of left it like that, the computer would go through that loop, and our 5 seconds, 30 seconds would be over in a fraction of a second. So what we're also going to do to make certain it only takes one off every second is we're going to put a wait 1 second just in there. So then we want to keep doing that until our timer runs out. So it's up to the maths operators again, and we're going to look for less than. So we're going to continue until our time is less than 1. So we go back to variables. We've got our time variable there, and we can drop it here. That one then drops into our repeat until. So we've set our time to 5 seconds. A second later then we start going around a loop which will take 1 off the time until time is less than 1, so until it reaches 0. But then we need to tell it to do something once we actually get there. So back on control, and we're going to put stop all. So the idea of stop all is it stops all of the other programs from running. So let's just try that now. So we've got 5 seconds. We should be able to click this. It might not come back. It's there, but now that's it. Game stopped. So we've kind of got a working game, and we could duplicate that sprite and continue there. But there is one issue with this, and that is that people can always still do sort of an extra click on these after the game's supposed to stop, which just it increases their score. So really it's like a way of cheating on the game. So we're going to try and do something about that now. So one of the things, we've got our time here. I'm just going to put off to that side. There is a timer in Scratch. And if I tick the box there, so we're going to sensing and we go to timer. The timer just keeps on counting up from when you first run the game at each stage. Yeah. So what we're going to do is we're going to keep resetting the timer in this program. Once the programs stop, that resetting will also stop as well, and that means that this will then start going up. Okay, so whilst we're on sensing, we'll take our reset timer. We're going to go to events. We're going to say when the flag is clicked, and then forever we're going to reset that timer. So as long as things are still running, this is going around and setting that time to 0. But when our time runs out, that stop all comes in because our time is less than 1. That means this doesn't run anymore, so that timer starts counting upwards. So now we go back to our main sprite. We're saying when this sprite is clicked, and all of this happens here. What we're going to do now is we're going to use an if statement. So we will go to control, and then from the control menu we're going to look for if then. So we'll take the if then. I'm going to take those off our program here and then join that back together again. So what we're making certain of then, we only want this to work when our timer is less than 1, which means that that timer has been reset over and over again on this program here. So we're going to go back into our operators. So we're going to take less than symbol. So 1 there. We'll go back to sensing, and we've got our timer there, and then get that in the middle and drop the whole thing in there. So let's run our game again, and just hold on for a second. So that's just going to stop. So now when I'm clicking this, even though I can see it, it doesn't affect the score. Good idea, things like this, just to check it does work when our timer is on. Yeah, so our score's working there. We're almost done with the main parts of the game, so I'm just going to tidy a few things up here. So I'm going to double click on these, and then there's just a couple of things that I just want to add before we start duplicating everything, or just one main thing here, and that is we're going to go to the sound. Go up to sounds here. There's already a sound called pop there, so if we play it, we just get that little popping sound each time we do that. So let's go back to our code, and we're just going to say then start sound pop, and we're going to do that just as we hide our sprite. So let's try that again. So we should get that popping sound when we click on it. It's a good idea, if you haven't done already, just to save your project. So now we're ready to start putting the rest of the game together. Don't really need this timer anymore, so I'm going to go back to sensing, and I'm going to untick it. It's still there, it's still running, it's just we don't really want it running on our game now. So if we go back to our stage, we're going to set our time to 30 seconds. Go back to our sprite. So now we're going to right click on this sprite and duplicate it. Make sure that we're clicked on this one, and then we're going to make some changes to that. So just run that one. Yeah, so we look at the size of those sprites. I'm going to make our new one. Careful not to move that. Make our new one just a little bit smaller there. And again, 40. Okay, so let's just run that. So we've got our smaller one here, and now this color effect change that we put in right at the very beginning. I'm just going to change that now to 25. So when we run, we should now get two different colored sprites, and it means we don't really have to start building lots of new programs up or anything. And we'll do that again. So I'm going to duplicate that sprite again. This one I might just have a little bit smaller. Let's put that on the 50, and let's just run it. Okay, so alright with that. Because that one's a little bit smaller, I'm going to give 2 points when people click that one. Just going to go back to that middle one. Instead of that one moving 5 steps, let's make it move 7. Yeah, this one, let's make that one move 6. So we've got a few other bits and pieces there. And then we're just going to continue that on. So I'm going to go to the first one again and duplicate it. So we might slightly smaller, and we'd got up to 25, 50, 75 on our color change. I'm going to make that one go a bit faster than the others. I wouldn't go above maybe 10, 12, something like that. Okay, now the color change that we've got here, it's very close to that other green, so I'm just going to skip the 75, run the program again. Yeah, and we've got something that's different colors here. And then let's go back and duplicate one more of them. Yeah, so with this one, let's say 45. Let's go 9 steps there, and then our color effect 125, and check what we've got with them. So just need to make sure we click all of these so they all work. Yeah, and then I'm going to click the stage to make sure that the score goes back down, and it does. And then we're just going to hold on with that at the moment until that timer for 30 seconds runs out. There, okay, and then I'll click on these. All of that is finished there. So that's our game finished now. If you want to have a go playing the game, up here there's our full screen. So click the flag and then you can actually get a slightly better view than we would have done before. If you want to continue with this game as an extension task, you could add a couple more of these. Same again, changing its speed, its size, its colour, and maybe the number of points that people get for them. You could also, down here in the sprite tray, paint a new sprite, and you've got a text tool there. You put something like that in there, go back to the pointer tool, and you can make that as big as you like and sort of play around with any of those. You then need to put in a program which, when our timer is less than 1, would show our game over sprite, and you'd have to start off with your game over sprite hidden at the beginning of the game. But that's up to you if you want to go on and do anything else like that. You could also go into the costumes and maybe make each of these look a little bit different. You could add extra costumes to them and animate those by using the switch to costume or next costume, so that maybe when these things get clicked, they sort of pop like a bubble, and you would put that in this program. So thank you very much, and see you again next time.